Hey guys, good morning. So yesterday we started web application firewall and we completed that one. And also today, and also we start Owasp top 10. So Owasp top 10 attacks we are going to discuss along with the mitigation as well. So whatever important things are there from the Owasp top 10 point of view, those things we can discuss. After that, we can discuss normal attacks as well. So that is the agenda for today class. First attack is injection ploy attack. It's a generic term and how we can use this injection ploy attack. So what attacker will do basically in this scenario, attacker will inject untrusted data into the application side and he will see whether application is vulnerable or not. In case his application is vulnerable, then he will try to compromise our application side. So that is called injection ploy attack, generic injection ploy attack. So now what are the different untested data attacker will inject? Maybe SQL queries or LDAP queries or PHP queries or HTML queries or JavaScript queries and so on. So then if you want to define the SQL queries, attacker will inject untrusted SQL queries into the application side. Then he will see whether application is vulnerable and also backend database server will execute those commands, whatever attacker is executing. And finally, backend server will get compromised or not. So that is called SQL injection attack. Okay, so this one is particular compulsory application side attack. All these attacks, whatever we are discussing, are going to discuss. So, and wherever input validation is required. When I say input validation, like a username field, password field, login button, and also like, share, comment. So these are all the fields we can call it as a input side. So end user or customer or public people, they will put the respect input input. That particular thing we can call it as input validation. For example, if I want to show 1 second. So now I opened one of the application. Application name is called facebook.com. In this facebook.com, so what is the user input or public people input or customer input they will provide in the Facebook application? So either email address or phone number and password and click on login button. So this particular fields we can call it as input. So now attacker what he will try to do in this input, wherever input is required, those places he will try to inject untrusted data. Example, can we go on, can we trace some untrusted data? Maybe HTML. Okay, so header or head, whatever it may be, and I'm closing with HTML. Whether this type of data will be accepted by the Facebook, whether whatever I entered in the username field, HTML header with HTML, whether this particular trust data will be accepted with the backend server or not, yes or no? No. Yeah, no. It will not accept. Why? Because it's untrusted data. So these type of data will not be accepted by our Facebook application. This data is called as untrusted data. In this similar way, so we can try with maybe some other data like select star, insert data into table. So 1 equals to 1 is a true condition. So whether this type of data will be accepted by the application? No. No. So this is SQL related queries basically. So previous one is HTML and right now whatever I entered is SQL related queries. Now in case this type of data is executing by backend database, that particular attack is called as our injection ploy attack. Okay. So now what developer has to do, whenever user or whenever any customer or public or even internal user, they are trying to access these type of data, it should not be executed by the backend database. In case it is executing, we can consider that application is vulnerable. That type of attack is called injection fly attack. So whatever data right now entered, it's untrusted data. Maybe we can consider like 9986 So whether this is a trusted data or untrusted data? Trusted data. Why? Because already Facebook itself, they provided either you can enter email address or phone number. Anything, those two things you can log into the application side. So this is called trusted data now. So attacker, what he will do, he will try to inject untrusted data into the application and he will see whether application is vulnerable. In case application is vulnerable, then backend server will get compromised. So that particular attack is called injection fly attack. Now, what are the different type injections attacker will enter? So one is SQL, one is HTML or JavaScript or PHP or LDAP or OS. All these are different types of injection category of the queries attacker will inject, and finally he will compromise backend database. That type of attack is called as injection fly attack. So now how we can define this one? Attacker will inject untrusted data into application or web application wherever input field is required, and he will try to compromise, he will try to execute, and otherwise he will try to see whether the application is vulnerable. In case unarbitrary commands will be executed, then we can consider backend database executing those commands. This type of attack is called as injection flaw. It's a general term, like a malware category of the attack. So that is in injection flaw general attack. Now, what are the different types of injection flaw attacks we have? So attacker will inject untested data into the web application and he'll see whether that particular application is vulnerable or not. In case that application is vulnerable, then finally you'll execute those commands and then backend database will accept or it will execute. So that type of attack is called injection flaw attack. Now, what to inject? What are the different types of things attacker will inject? So he will inject queries he will inject, or OS commands he will inject, or URL manipulations he will inject. So these are the different examples of what to inject. And what are the examples of these queries, like SQL queries, PHP queries, HTML,
OS,
JavaScript, OS, LDAP queries, okay, URL. So all these will fall under the what to inject. Okay. Now, if you are injecting SQL queries and backend database is executing those commands, then we can call it as SQL injection attack. If you are giving the LDAP query and backend Active Directory is executing those commands, then we can call it LDAP injection fly attack. So what is PHP injection now? If attacker is injecting PHP and backend database executing, then we can call PHP injection attack. There are so many injections based on the what type of programming language we are using to develop the application. So what type of program they are using to develop the application. According to that one, we can define these injection fly attack as well. So whatever coding you are using, that particular code we can consider as a respect to injection fly attack. If it is SQL, it's a PHP, LDAP, okay, Java injection. So these are all the different types of injection fly attacks we have. But out of all these, SQL is very famous. Why? Because most of the organizations, backend database servers, they will use SQL based only. That may be SQL or MS SQL or MySQL or PostgreSQL or GridGain or Couchbase or MongoDB. All these will fall under structured query language programming it will use, or queries it will use. So, and also backend database is very important for any organization. So that is the reason SQL injection attack is very famous as compared to other attacks. Okay. So that type of attack is called as injection fly attack. Now, where to inject? So where we are injecting these SQL queries and we are validating whether application is vulnerable or not, not only just attacker, even red team or who your pen test is doing. Those people also we can consider it's an injection only. Example, I am a pen tester or I am a red team. So I want to do manual verification whether application is vulnerable or not. Then I can use couple of automated tools like a burp suite or metasploit or Owasp job tool, and I can execute these command. I can see whether application is vulnerable or not. Not only just attacker, even we can consider as a red team or even pen testers as well. Okay. So whoever just trying and executing whether it is penetrating or not, whether vulnerable or not, executing the commands or not. Okay. So now where to inject? Wherever input is required. So what are the input place it is required? Example, username, password, comments, feedback, summary, like. So these are the couple of examples where the user is providing the input. Okay. So whoever user is giving the input and he is logging into the respective application, those fields we can call it as the input validation part. Nothing but he is trying to enter those details and he is checking whether he is able to log in or entering into the application. So those places are fields we can call it as input validation fields. Okay. So that is where to inject. Now why to inject? So why we are injecting like a red team or blue team or attacker to see whether that application is accepting those queries or inputs so that that application will become vulnerable or not, to test that one. So that is the reason why we are injecting, to see whether the application is vulnerable or not. In case if the application is vulnerable, so what is the meaning of that one? So our applications are from attacker point of weak and he will try to compromise our applications. So that is the reason we can consider, and so we can validate why we have to inject these fields. Okay. Now, types of injection fly attacks. So as I said earlier, if I are entering SQL injection fly attack, this is popular attack out of all. Second one, LDAP injection. It's a query based LDAP queries.
Sir, one small doubt.
Yeah, please.
అది అంటే SQL మనం ఇంజెక్ట్ చేస్తాం కదా, సో we need to develop that SQL code.
Yes, we have to see whether that particular application is vulnerable and we have to inform to developers. So whatever code you are developing or whatever backend database it is, yes, we have to develop. That's right. We have to test basically. Yeah.
ఎట్లా అది?
So that is, as I said, that's what I said. So if you want to become pen tester or application security point, compulsory you need at least one programming language.
Okay.
Yeah. So these payloads we have to insert, and you need at least one programming language how the application will work. Then only you can go and you can try to apply application security vacancies. So that's the reason I said initially you can go to cyber security. Maybe 1 or 2 months you can learn one of the programming language. Thereafter, you can enter into the application security. Straight away, you are going to application security. Cracking the interior is difficult, and also surviving the application security field also it's difficult. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And PHP injection, HTML, next one is OS injection, JavaScript injection. So there are so many. So these are the couple of examples of injection. Whatever programmings we are using, that is one side, application side, and whatever backend database we are using, that is one type. So backend server should be accepted. Now, this type of attack is server side attack or the client side attack.
Server
Injection
side.
fly attack, yeah. Injection fly attack is server side or client side attack. So answer is server side. Now, if you want to mitigate this attack, now what we have to do? So first and foremost, so whatever Owasp formation is saying, those test cases we have to test. Either through Burksive tool in the automated way, that is called DAST, already explained. Second one is manual way also. Different payloads we have to test and we can see whether application is vulnerable or not. Okay. So how to mitigate this type of attack now? Mitigation or remediation. First one is input validation. Second one is, what is second one? Anyone? What is second one?
Strong password.
A strong password policy, it will mitigate to compromise the application. That's right. But one more.
Imports or open.
Yesterday we discussed already. That's why I'm asking this question. What is second one?
Multi-factor.
No, web application firewall, WAF. So we have to use web application firewall. In that web application firewall, we have to create a SQL injection policy. Okay. Not only SQL injection, any injection related policy we have to create. Now we have to define the action, whether that particular application topic using HTTP or HTTPS get and response, whether the topic must be either it is allow or block or monitor or alert. So these are all the fields we can validate. So second one is WAF, and that injection policy we have to create. So in case developers or penetration testers are missing validation related to security, maybe, okay, so penetration tester doesn't have that much skills, or maybe what are code scanning we are doing, tool is not giving the proper results, at least in the final defense in depth layer control as a WAF. WAF can identify based on the signature based on the machine learning capability. It will identify and it will at least give the alert notification. In our application, some of the flaws are existing related to injection. Now, once that alert is received in SIM tool, now we have to go and we have to verify where is the issue and we have to inform to developers. So these are all the fields. Okay, so injection fly attack is occurred. Please go and test this particular application, and if possible, you can change the backend development or program as well. Okay, so we have to create WAF also. So third one, if you want to generate alert notification in the SIM tool, all the logs, all the application logs, we have to integrate it to SIM tool. And in the SIM tool, we have to create a correlation rule related to injection fly attack. That is A9 as well. I'm not sure yesterday, did you remember or not? What is A9? So security logging and monitoring, most of the application most of the applications, whatever they are developing, they are not logging, and also they are not integrating to SIM tool, and they are not monitoring as well. So that is one of the use case. Now, whatever applications we are developing, that may be internal or external applications, we have to log using syslog or maybe using the API token method, and we have to integrate all these logs to SIM tool. So that is one way we can generate the alert notification. Even developers, they are missing this one at the time of the development, or code scanning is missing out, or penetration test are missed out. At least SIM tool or blue team will take care of the alert investigation. So these many possible ways we can reduce the attack vector and attack complexity. So what is third one? Integrating all the application logs to SIM tool and monitor injection fly attack. Okay, so for this one we have to create a logic as well. So these are all the ways we can identify injection fly attack and we can mitigate. So as I said, code scanning tools. For code quality, code assurance, development side, developers, they will do the scanning part, but it will not give any security related vulnerabilities list. Whatever code scanning we are doing using checkmarks or Veracode or Portify or any other, okay, so SAST scanning tools. If you're running that one CI/CD pipeline, that tool will give these are the places injection fly attack is existing. Now we can raise a ticket to the respective developers in the Jira, and they will fix that particular issue in the very beginning of the development itself. That is one way how we can mitigate the injection fly attack or voice top 10 category. Second one is, so our penetration tester, internal penetration tester, they will go and they will do the application vulnerable or not. In case application is vulnerable, and they will identify the issues list, example injection fly attack, and they will inform to the developers. So these are the places injection fly attack is occurred, and please try to fix this one. So this is second one. So far we have two controls. Third control is our external penetration tester. Whoever is doing external pen test, in case either code scanning it is missed out the injection fly attack, second one internal pen tester is missed out. So as external penetration tester, they will go and they will identify the issue. So this is the third place or third security check. Fourth security check is web application firewall. So we are using web application firewall, and we are creating one of the injection fly attack policy, and at least web application firewall based on signature based and machine learning capability, it will identify the issue or alert or notify. So that is the fourth check. Fifth check is, so we are integrating all the logs to SIM tool. And finally, whenever attacker is trying to manipulate or trying to insert untested data in the input validation, wherever it is required, so alert will come to our SIM tool based on the correlation rules, whatever we created. These many checks are there to monitor application side. Even still it is existing any loophole or issue, finally our application will get compromised. Is it clear or not? First one is code scanning. Second one is our internal pen test. Third one is external pen test. Fourth one is WAF. Fifth one is SIM tool. These a layer approach we can call it as. If one layer is bypassing second layer, second is bypassing third layer, what is that process called as?
Defense in depth layer.
Defense in depth layer control. But most of the organizations are missing this approach. So first of all, they are not doing the pen test itself. They are not doing code scanning in the very beginning of the SDLC life cycle. They are not working with the respective external pen testers. They are not implementing the web application firewall, and even they are not integrating all these logs to SIM tool. So that is the reason our applications are getting compromised. This is not only just for injection fly attack. Whatever fly attacks we are discussing about Owasp top 10, This is applicable to all the top 10 category of the attacks. So these many controls we have to implement. Take example, maybe SBI Bank, take example DMart, take example Morningstar Travels, take example any Apollo hospitals. Do you think that all the 5 checks they are implementing in the security related, so application scanning and pen test, external pen test, web application firewall, integrating logs to SIM tool? Do you think
No,
that
sir.
every organization is doing this one?
No.
No, they are not doing this one. That is the reason most of our applications are getting compromised. Okay, so if you want to mitigate this one, these many things we have to implement. Okay, so that is about injection fly attack. Now I will ask SQL injection fly attack.
Sir, before that, I have a small doubt.
Yeah, please.
Sir, you said that we have to, in the injection, I mean, in mitigations, we have to integrate all the app logs to SIM tool for monitoring, right?
Yeah.
Sir, in the similar way, for all the malware category of attacks, also we can apply this mitigation. Can we add as an extra one?
Yes, we can add that one also. Malware category or firewall logs or DOS logs. Yes, we can add that one as a mitigation, right? But most of the organization already doing that one. So, but as per survey, they are integrating all these logs. But application side, they are not developing. Example, take my previous organization. We are not integrating all the application logs to SIM tool, but we are integrating EDR. We are integrating our DLP and IDS, IPS, and so on. In the similar way, my prior to that organization also. So for that one, application logging, what is the problem here is parses development issues. Application developers, they don't know how to develop the parsers. They don't know how to develop the regular expressions and how this particular custom it will happen from the logging side. They don't have sufficient skills, unfortunately. So that is the reason lagging of skills as well from the application development side. So this is also one of the drawback, especially application development, product development, and mobile development side. Clear, Bindu?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
So this is the skills respect to not only from the security point of view, it's mainly from the development related issue as well. Whoever is developing, example, I will say in my previous organization and previous to previous organizations also. So we are developing one of the product. That product logs we have integrated to SIM tool. So they have done the for the namesake, they created couple of logs. But all those raw logs, whatever they created, it is missing so many fields like event ID timestamp, user ID, HTTP code related issues part, authentication, payload information, source IP, destination IP. There are so many fields are missing. Now, one more thing is these raw logs should be converted to parsed log in the SIM tool. And what first raw log itself, they are making mistakes for the development side. So how that parse log it will happen? Now headache with the parse development whoever is doing. Most of the case parse development will be done by our SIM tool vendor itself, because security people doesn't have that much capability, right? So that is the reason developers, once we are providing raw log to them, then they are asking back to the ask them your product developers or mobile developers or application developers to do the proper development side. So this is the way in between our product development companies, application development companies, and mobile development companies to the SIM tool vendors, lot of blame game it will happen. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that is also one of the drawback. So as I said, developer side also, they don't have sufficient skills to develop these raw log, how it will be generated and how to develop using the programming language using. Okay. Now, I will pinpoint one of the person and you have to say the SQL injection attack. Ram. Ram?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what is SQL? Do you know what is injection attack? You understood, right?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Now, what is SQL injection attack? Can you
Um,
define SQL injection attack?
yeah. In generally, attacker will try to penetrate into the network by using interfaces, web applications like where our is login forms and all. So there he will execute SQL queries or LDAP So those using those queries, he will try to get the access, like getting the data from database.
Okay. And finally,
Yeah, he will get that information. I mean, what I can say, credentials or data from the database.
okay, that's correct. But don't say here you mentioned two things. One is network, that is wrong. Second one is you mentioned LDAP. Specifically, I asked only SQL. You said combination of both SQL as well as LDAP. And also you said penetrate network, not penetrating, not network, penetrating application. So
Yes.
these two you said wrong, but otherwise everything is fine. So in now how to define this one? Attacker or internal employee, whoever is doing the pen test or red team, they will inject untrusted data of the SQL queries into the wherever input validation is required in the application side, and they will see whether application is vulnerable or not. So in case that application is vulnerable, they will try to execute those commands in such a way, backend database will execute those commands, and finally the backend database server will get compromised. So that is called SQL injection. Okay, how to define this one now? Attacker will inject untrusted SQL queries in the input fields, and he will see whether the application is vulnerable by backend database. In case application is vulnerable, then he will compromise backend database. Then he will gain unauthorized access. So that is called SQL injection attack. In the similar PHP. So wherever SQL is there, just you can change to PHP. Wherever, okay, so SQL is there, just you can change to HTML. Wherever SQL is there, just you can change to JavaScript. Then it will become PHP injection, HTML injection. Next one is JavaScript injection, and so on. So these are all ways we can ask, but mitigations are same as it is. So this mitigation is common for any injection ply attack. So this first attack. And now if you want to monitor SQL injection attacks in the SIM tool, what are the log sources logs we have integrated to SIM tool? Okay. Which log sources logs we have to integrate to monitor injection ply attack in the SIM tool? Okay. So as I said, all the application logs we have to integrate to SIM tool, not only just application. So every application layer architecture, I forgot to say that one. Every application layer, every application 3-tier architecture, it contains 3 layers basically. Every application development, those layers are: first one is user layer, second one is logical or business layer, third one is backend database layer. So this is application 3-tier architecture. If developers they are going for any interview, you will ask this question also: what is application 3-tier architecture? User layer, logical or business layer, or database layer. So these are the 3 layers. Now how it will work, this particular concept practically, you can see now as a user, I am entering our input, my input, example username and password. So this is called user page. Whatever right I am sharing in the screen, this particular page is called as user page. User page. This is called user layer. Okay. So once you are clicking on the login button, now it will open one of the page, and how that page is appearing and how that page is redirecting. Backend they are using different types of programming languages that will be based on the microservice based Java applications or ASP.NET or maybe C# or maybe okay HTML or JavaScript, or maybe PowerShell or Python, whatever it may be. So second one, that is logic they are defining. Developers are defining the logic. So that is called business layer or logical layer. Once you are providing the username and password field, now backend server, it will validate our credentials, what a hash value it is storing. It will fetch the respective, okay, so data, and finally user is able to access the application. So every application architecture is content 3 layers. One is user layer. Once you're clicking on the login button, it is a backend business or logical layer. Third one is backend database layer, where the data is storing from user point of view. So these layers from the application 3-tier architecture. What is network 3-tier architecture? What is network 3-tier architecture? What is network 3-tier architecture? What are the components are existing in the network 3-tier architecture side?
Next generation firewall, proxy or web gateway, NADS and NAPS.
Excellent. That is the perfect answer. So on the network 3-tier architecture side, in the perimeter level, we have to implement 3 different types of network devices. One is next generation firewall in the DMZ or DMZ. Second one is we have to implement proxy or web gateway or application gateway. Third one is network IDS and network IPS. So these 3 layers we can call it as a network 3-tier architecture on the networking side or perimeter side. Application 3-tier architectures are so user layer, business or logical layer, and database layer. Okay, this one already we discussed part of network architecture diagram. Okay, so now if you want to integrate logs to SIEM tool related to application, and if you want to monitor any Owasp top 10 category of the attacks, so which logs we have to integrate? Now you have to keep all these 3 things are in mind. One is user layer, second one is logical or business layer, finally database layer. So first and foremost, so which logs we have to integrate now? Application logs. So whatever application we do have, those logs we have to integrate. Second one is, what is second one? Based on this 3-tier architecture also you can say. Yes, WAF logs, you are right. So in case if you are using web application firewall in our organization level, yes, we have to integrate web application firewall logs also to SIEM tool. So WAF logs. Third one?
SQL database, sir.
Yeah, database logs. So these are the logs we have to integrate it to our SIEM tool so that we have to create one of the logic related to injection fly attack, and we can take care of the injection related issues whenever attacker is trying to do the hacking part. Okay. So application logs we can use API token method or REST API method. Web application firewall logs we can use syslog server method. Database logs we can use collector agent or syslog server method. So these are the methods we can use to integrate logs to SIEM tool using different types of log integration method, and we have to create a correlation rule or use cases in the SIEM tool. Now our blue team. So we'll go and we'll monitor, is there any SQL injection attacks are occurring into our SIEM tool, and then they will take care of the respective incident investigation. So that is about overall injection fly attack. So second one is CSS or XSS or cross-site scripting attack. CSS or XSS or cross-site scripting attack. 1 second, guys. Sorry guys. So CSS or XSS or cross-site scripting attack. So as per Owasp top 10, so this attack is not existing as per 2021 survey, but I can show that one in practically. So I'm going to Owasp organization, and you can see here. So this is 2017 survey. This is 2021 survey. So as per 2017 survey, you can see cross-site scripting attack will fall under the A07. Injection fly attack is A01. Number one is injection in 2017 survey. And as per 2017 survey, cross-site scripting is A07. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now you can see this one. Give me 1 second. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. Yeah, you can see injection and also cross-site scripting as per 2017 survey. But can you see, is there any cross-site scripting in 2021? Injection we have A03, but is there any cross-site scripting attack?
No, sir.
No, it is not existing. But you can see A07, it is mapped to, so A03. One of the arrow mark here, this one yellow arrow mark with a dotted line. Can you see this one?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, A07 with dotted line, yellow arrow mark. It is okay. So pointed out A03. Okay, so that means as per 2021 survey, injection fly attack as well as cross-site scripting attack will fall under A03 itself. So that is the reason in the yesterday class already I said. So injection fly attack is a combination of cross-site scripting also. Both these attacks will fall under A03 itself. Clear? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So now we can discuss what is cross-site scripting attack and what are the different types of attacks we have. So cross-site scripting here, what attacker will use? It's a scripting programming language. So that may be either HTML or JavaScript or any other scripting programming language like a Python, PowerShell or Perl and so on. So attacker will inject malicious scripts into the application side for already existing web application, and you will see whether that application is vulnerable. In case its application is vulnerable, then from that application side, he will gain the unauthorized access or sensitive data exposure. So here attacker will compromise on the client side. Attacker will compromise on the backend server side also. Okay. But on the other hand, injection fly attack only from server side attack, but cross-site scripting attack both client as well as server. So client side also he can try to compromise and server side also he can try to compromise. So that is the main difference. And there he will enter only queries or comments, but here it is scripts as well. So that is the main difference between injection versus cross-site scripting attack. Now how we can define this cross-site scripting attack? Attacker will inject malicious scripts into the application side and he will see whether application is vulnerable or not. In case application is vulnerable, then he will gain the unauthorized access or sensitive data exposure. Either it is client side or backend server side. So that is called cross-site scripting attack. Okay. So there are three different types of cross-site scripting attacks we have. One is stored cross-site scripting attack, that is on server side. Second one, reflected cross-site scripting attack, that is on the client side. DOM-based cross-site scripting attack, that is once again client side. So these are the three different types of cross-site scripting attacks we have. Okay. So how we can define this one? Attacker will inject malicious scripts into the application and he will execute those commands, those scripts in such a way attacker will gain unauthorized access or sensitive data exposure. So now cross-site scripting attack is both client and server side. Okay. Now types of the cross-site scripting attack. One is stored cross-site scripting attack. Next one is reflector cross-site scripting attack. Third one DOM-based. DOM full form is document object mode. It is this basically one of the Java concept, iframe concept. Basically, if you want to make sub pages in any application, take example our Gmail. Gmail has inbox, sent items, drafts, folders, and so on. In one application, in the one home page itself, we can create multiple iframes. All those iframes we can consider as a DOM. Basically, it's a document object mode. These are all three different types of scripting attacks we have related to cross-site. One is this one is stored. Stored meaning where the data can be stored. It's a front-end client side or back-end server side.
Backend
Where the
server.
data can be stored.
Backend server.
Yeah, so it's a server side attack. And reflected. Reflection is coming back from the server or maybe attack. So now this one is client or server? Client. So this is also, you will take from the existing cookies. This also will fall under client side. So these are the three different types of attacks will fall under the cross-site scripting attack and how the attacker will do compromise. Now, maybe take one of the practical example. Example, I will take LinkedIn example. If you want to register in the LinkedIn, what are the information it will ask at the time of sign up or registration? At the time of sign up or registration, so what are the different types of information it will ask?
Name,
Name,
Email,
user ID,
email, phone number. Yeah, it will ask first name, last name, email address, mobile number. Okay, so it will ask address, even if you need any premium support or not. Okay, so that means you have to enter our debit card and credit card information. So these are all the fields it will ask. In case if you want to get more jobs calls, then respect to people, they will take. So even premium support also. Okay. So that means personal oriented premium support or business oriented premium support. Understood? So all this information we have to enter and finally we have to give the password, new password and confirm new password. This is the way we can register and we can sign up any application. That may be LinkedIn, that may be Gmail, that may be Facebook, that may be Twitter or Instagram or any other application. This is applicable to even in the organization point of view as well, right? Now, so example, I am the hacker. I created one of the LinkedIn profile. Okay. Now I posted couple of, I given request to so many people in the LinkedIn. So many people in the LinkedIn. So whoever is looking for job. So they accepted my friend request or connection request in the LinkedIn. There I posted couple of job vacancies related to security you can consider. Okay. Now I given, okay, so personal to personal email message content. Once you are giving the request, we can message it, right? We can message or not in the personal inbox.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in that particular inbox, I given, we are looking for cyber security analyst, approximately 3 to 6 years of the experience. And they given one of the URL link there, job description, everything. So as an attacker, now what you will do? What you will do? You will go and you'll click on that particular URL link. What is the, so information is existing. Or maybe what I posted in my personal hacking group LinkedIn profile. So there I given a couple of posting and I can given 3 options like, share or comment. So what attacker will do in these fields, he will enter a couple of malicious scripts or whatever URL link you are clicking on, it will redirect you to other websites. So that website you has called it as deface website or fake website or URL manipulation, cross site. What is cross site meaning here? It is going to another site. That's called cross site. Now, after clicking on that particular link, you have to enter your details like a first name, last name, mobile number, and you have to upload your resume. Once you are uploading your resume, automatically you'll give submit button. Now, once you are clicking on the submit button, all of your PIA data as well as initially at the time of sign up, whatever you given, all those data will come and it will come to our command and control server, where my server I am tracking your information in such a way. So attacker will gain the unauthorized access sensitivity exposure. Are you getting what I am saying?
Yes.
I create one of the fake LinkedIn profile. So I want to mislead all these people and I want to get their PIA data or email addresses or their first name or last name or their, okay, so debit card or credit card or maybe their any confidential data. Now I'll post in my LinkedIn profile after getting the connection request. After that, they are accepting couple of job vacancies. Now whoever is clicking on and submitting their profile, all those data it will come and it will store in my attacker server. So that is called stored cross-site scripting attack. Now what is reflected cross-site scripting attack? So once user is providing the respective, okay, so username and password field, attacker will enter on behalf of that particular application malicious scripts, and reflection, it will go to backend server and backend server it will respond back stating that your browser is got compromised by reflector cross-site scripting attack. Okay, reflection will come to client. So this is called client side. DOM based is nothing but it will take existing cookies or existing information, using that existing cookies and existing whatever username and passwords you are storing, using that one, attacker will take your information or you token using even JW tokens as well. Using the tokens also, existing tokens, attacker will log into on behalf of you. Then he will send the request to the respective server. Server will respond back. That is called DOM based. So these are the 3 different types of attacks will fall under cross-site scripting attack of the respective stored, reflected, and DOM based. So stored side, attacker will inject malicious scripts into the application, and once user is clicking on those malicious scripts, automatically end-user related data, it will come and it is stored in the attacker server side. That is called stored cross-site scripting attack. In the reflector cross-site scripting attack, attacker will inject malicious scripts into the where the client input validation is required. Then he will send the request to the server. Server will respond back stating that you will execute those scripts by the way. And finally, it will come comment stating that alert, your browser is got compromised by reflector cross-site scripting attack. On the DOM based, attacker will take existing cookies information and he will execute those malicious scripts on behalf of you, and finally, so request will go to the server and server will respond back. That's called DOM based. Okay, so these are the three different types of attacks we do have. And if you want to mitigate this one now, mitigation, so what we have to do, please remember, for every Owasp top 10 category of the attacks, compulsory, we have to make sure that input validation is very, very important. Input validation. What is second one? What is second one?
WAF, web application.
Yeah, web application firewall. Third one is one more new thing. In this one of the application header also, that is called WAF. Sorry, CSP, Content Security Policy. Content Security Policy. So what is this Content Security Policy? It's a basically allowing or block listing. Policy whenever we are referring either allow or block or alert or monitor. We have to identify our business domains and business IPs. Those business domains and business IPs only we have to allow. Remaining all other traffic, what we have to do? We have to block list. So that is the content security policy on the application side we have to implement. Remaining all other traffic, we have to do the block listing. Okay. It's like a known traffic.
WAF will not do that, sir?
No, WFA will not do that.
Oh.
It will do that one. It's additional security control.
Okay.
Yeah, WAF will do, but it's additional security control.
Fine.
Yeah, these many things we have to implement, and also parameterized queries also we have to implement. Queries are scripts on the coding side. So this is known by developers how to implement these parameterized queries using either C or C++ or Java-based programming languages. So wherever code is mismatching, that is the reason we are doing all these scans. So now what are the different types of defense in depth controls are existing to take care of all this one? As I said, one is code scanning, that is SAST or code scanning. Second one is WAF. Third one is internal pen test. Next one is external pen test. And finally, which one? What is final one?
Log integration.
Log integration
SIM
to SIM tool, like a SOC, I can say SIM or SOC. These many things we have to take care to implement and to mitigate all the Owasp top 10 category of the attacks. Okay. So that is our cross-site scripting attack. Yeah. So one more is CSRF attack that we can discuss tomorrow. So tomorrow, offline people class will be there at 8 o'clock in the, okay, so institute itself. For online people, it will be there in the online around 10:30 or 10 o'clock. Clear? Offline people tomorrow class at Amirpet Institute at 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. IST. For online people, tomorrow class will be there at 10 a.m. IST. Understood?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, then, and day after tomorrow, I can show EDR tool for offline people. Online people, I will continue some other topics. Okay. So
Okay,
that's
sir.
all for today, guys. Any questions? Okay, then. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.